OMG. Welcome back to my channel. So excited you're here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate you. It's Jody Dunn coming at you with a new weekly video. And as you can see, I'm working on my fridge. So it's been about a year since I have done a full clean out. So we're going to go through, see if anything needs to be discarded, give the fridge a whole huge clean, get him back behind the fridge, and do all of that stuff for spring cleaning. If you're new and you just found me, so happy that you are here. Would you please say hello to me and let me know you are new right down in the comments section? I would love to welcome you and say hello to you. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back to another video. I appreciate you. Leave me a hello down in the comments section as well so I can say hi to you. So the top shelves here are the only ones I don't have shelf liners on. They really don't get that bad. And I do like wipe down my fridge periodically. And, you know, right before garbage day, we get rid of anything that needs to be gotten rid of and all of that good stuff. So I don't anticipate this is going to be too terrible of a cleaning, but I had some funny family moments happen that I left in here. The hubs was like dancing and then realized I was filming. Well, not really dancing. And then Viv, it was so funny.
Can you give me my soda, please?
Oh, did the camera catch you? Got clip?
Got a clip.
Where is it?
Turn around.
You guys are something, I tell ya. You are something.
She goes.
I was thinking right in front of the camera, and I was like,
Where
wait,
is
where
it?
is it? Because Dad said that he got clipped, and then Dad was like right behind you, and I'm literally right in front of it. I'll wait a second.
She was trying to put her bowl in the dishwasher. And then, of course, Donna Jean figures out what's happening. So she's coming over. And then I left another clip in where Donna Jean, sometimes she says the most outrageous, funny things. So I left that in as well. Donna Jean.
Hard.
I don't think that did anything.
Did you do that?
No, she fucking on it.
Come on, Donna Jean.
That was uncalled.
Can anyone fit in there?
I
What?
don't even have any makeup
You
on.
think can fit in there?
I have no idea if you can fit in here, but you're not going to try to fit in here.
That would be a really good spot for hide and seek.
Yeah, just wonderful,
We
Donna.
want to play hide and seek.
No. I was just showing you how dirty the shelf liners got that I have in there when she decided to ask me, do you think I can fit in there? It would be a great spot for hide and go seek. She's my one kid that says just some crazy things. So anyways, you got to see pretty much the whole family while I was cleaning out the fridge. So I'm just using dish soap and cleaning out, and I'm just kind of going shelf by shelf. I'm not going to pull everything out. I just pulled out the shelves, and then I'm going through and cleaning. Now, this middle shelf here, I'm not taking this out. I've done it the last 2 years. It is the biggest pain in the butt to get apart. You got to get a screwdriver, so I'm just leaving that one in this time. And even though these have shelf liners on them, I am cleaning them. They're not really that dirty because of the shelf liners. But I saw this video on Instagram. I've never thought of this before. And she was cleaning her fridge and pulled it out and shattered it because of the temperature change. So I'm being extra careful. I let them set out for about 20 minutes just to kind of not be so cold anymore. And then I made sure the water was definitely not hot, like barely, not even warm, really. I've never thought of it before. I've always just taken my shelves right out and washed them in warm water. And these ones are glass. And I was like, oh crap, I don't want the glass to break. So I was a little extra careful this time. So you probably already knew that, but just in case you didn't, be careful. If your shelves are glass, the temperature change can make them shatter. I called it a shelf in the middle, but it's a drawer. The top of that is glass as well. And then the bottom 2 drawers I have, those are plastic. So I'm not as worried about those. I would love to hear what is happening for you this week. Are you working on any fun projects in your house? Are y'all finished with your spring cleaning? What's going on in your life? Definitely feel free to share it with me down in the comments. I would love to hear about it. So like I said, it's been a year since I've done this deep clean of this refrigerator. And honestly, I feel like that's perfect timing for us. Of course, I do a periodic wipe down and things like that. I don't even necessarily do it every week, but it really wasn't that bad. It was really just the bottom of the fridge that was the worst part, which I feel like always gets crumbs and things like that. So I'm just going to keep up with this schedule of once a year. The first time I ever cleaned out my fridge, it had been much longer than a year, and it was really, really bad. But now the once a year with the periodic wipe downs seems to be good. Now, I will be asking for your opinions on what you do when we get to a certain part of the refrigerator that was really bad. There is I forgot to clean it. See how dirty the bottom gets? The bottom just gets dirty. Anyways, I forgot to clean there's a little vent on the front of this. I actually looked at it and I was like, wow, it doesn't even have any dust coming out. I was quite shocked. But I've done that in the last couple of times that I've cleaned this fridge. The first time I ever did it, I didn't even know the dang vent cover came off. And once I figured it out, it was horrible. So that part wasn't bad either. I do have to remember to go back and get that cleaned out. But I might also include in this video, who remembers the video where I tried making cake pops for the first time? It was kind of funny. I've been wanting to make cake pops again, and so I gave it another go. It was again funny. So I might put a little bit of that in. But I did learn, I think the next time I make cake pops, they'll probably turn out really, really good. So you can see my hand on the floor there. That's where that vent cover is that I forgot to clean. And again, I'm just using dish soap and water. And everything came clean except for I had a couple of little spots. They were almost like, they looked kind of like scratches that I couldn't get up with the dish soap. So I just pulled out a magic eraser. The magic erasers are magic. Yes, you have to be careful with them because they are basically like very fine sandpaper. So be careful what you use them on, but they do a fantastic job of getting marks out. You can hear Clarky in the background was squeaking on his toy. And I think at some point my husband starts whistling. Whenever I film when the whole family is home, it's always just a lot of noise happening. But it makes my heart happy. If you caught my last week's video, I did a declutter and a big clean in my laundry room. And I had a lot of buildup and spotting on my floor that I got clean with the pink stuff. I love the pink stuff cleaner. Had just a lot of people tell me that I should have used magic eraser, which I was kind of confused about because the pink stuff got it up. So why would I have used something else? But the amount of area that I was trying to cover, I would have gone, magic erasers are not cheap. I do buy the actual Mr. Clean magic eraser. I know they sell knockoffs. Look, it took everything all up. It looks so much better. I know they sell knockoffs. I've never actually tried a knockoff. Let me know if you have and if it works just as great. But when you're trying to cover a big area like the floor that I was covering, it was basically my whole floor, I would have gone through so many magic erasers. Way more cost effective for me to use the pink stuff than going through multiple magic erasers. So, but the magic erasers are an awesome cleaning tool. All right, let's get everything back in here. Now that everything's all cleaned, I did clean the drawers out, wash them all out. I didn't put that part in the video. I have these little, they're called Krusteaz batters. If you've never tried them, it's not a cheap option, but if you didn't know, I am an extreme couponer. So sometimes I don't get deals on food very often. It's usually more household and personal care products. But sometimes we will get deals on food, especially if there's new products. And I think these are fairly newer. So I ended up getting them for free, which was awesome. They're really good. It's a small package. We've tried the brownie batter. It's all the batters all in one. You just pop it in the oven and cook it, and they're really good. It's not a lot though. And I think they're like $5 for the little batter ones. But I've also tried the cupcake ones, made the cupcake ones for the girls one time when Donna Jean was having a sleepover. Those were really good too. So if you don't want to have to mix everything together, it's got all the ingredients in it. They are pretty delicious. I'm moving on now to the door. All the shelves in here I just showed you. Looks like probably some jam got spilled in one of them. And there's a little bit of, I don't know, probably chocolate sauce because this is where we keep the Hershey's chocolate sauce if I have it in the house. So just cleaning again everything with dish soap and water. And then once I get everything clean, just put the shelves back. Put all the condiments back. This is pretty much where we hold all of our condiments. I recently got introduced, it's probably been 6 months ago, to Chick-fil-A sauce. Oh my gosh, I love Chick-fil-A sauce. Let me know if you have ever tried it. I like it if I'm making like fries and hot dogs or something. I'll use it for my fries. It's really yummy. We don't have a Chick-fil-A super close by. I think my husband and I were going somewhere and he had never tried it. They opened one up by someplace I used to work a few years ago, so I had tried it. But anyways, we stopped there and we went in and I was like, oh, I've never tried their Chick-fil-A sauce. Let me try it. I tried it and I was like, this is so good. So then I saw it at the grocery store, so now I try to keep it on hand. Now, although the inside of the fridge was really not that bad at all, not very many spots, the doors are just gross. These little, I think they're like seals. They really collect a lot of dirt and dust. So if you haven't thought to look there, definitely take a look there. And Donna Jean came over looking at what I was doing, and we get funny commentary from her.
Did you clean it?
So basically,
It is pretty gross when you pull apart everything and see what is lurking in there. So got all that cleaned out. I'm going to be hosting Easter soon, so I wanted to get the fridge clean because it just looks nicer when you have a clean fridge. So this was everything that was in the refrigerator. We got some moldy looking cheese and some cheese that had expired, a few things that had expired that were kind of shoved in the back or on the door that I didn't look at. And RIP, that poor Coors Light, that's like 6 months expired. And expired beer does not taste good. All right, so here is what the door looked like beforehand. Now it looks a lot emptier since I got rid of some expired things. Right after this, you're going to see some outdoor animal clips. This was the refrigerator before I got in here and cleaned it and got rid of a few things that needed to be gotten rid of. And you can see how dirty it just looks at the bottom. And now it looks so much better. It just always feels better when the refrigerator is clean looking, at least. So you don't have a bunch of yuckiness in there around all your food. So happy I did this. That's cutie right there. I threw out some seed for the juncos. Oh, and there's my sweetie. Let's go feed them. Hi, good morning. Hi, cutie. Hang on. Let me shut the door so quick. Here you go. There you go, cutie. Hi. Hi, sweetie. Good morning. Hi. Hi, who are you? Hi, sweetie. How are you doing? There you go, honey. There you go. Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day today. Yes. It's so wonderful. There you go, sweetie. Cutie, you need some? Oh, look at the bearded dragon coming up. Here you go, cutie. Cutie and sweetie. Yes, my two babies. I love you. Hi, who are you? Are you going to come over? Come on. It's kind of windy today, huh? But at least it's warm. Yes, at least it's warm.
Wait, where is he?
Charlie's back. He's right there by the deck, Donna.
Oh, I see. Look at the gray squirrel.
I know, that cute little gray. Well, that's like a half-breed squirrel. I think that's a foxtail squirrel mixed with a gray squirrel. You can see the brown on him and he's bigger. Look at how cute Charlie is. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
I like the way they walk.
I know, they're so cute. Do you see him, Peppy? Hi, Charlie.
He probably came out of hibernation.
Yeah, he may have.
I like that fox, or whatever, the gray squirrel.
I know.
So you got some animal clips, and I said the bearded dragon was coming up. I met my bearded iris. I'm really not a reptile person, although you already know I'm an animal lover. So anyways, I'm not interested in having a bearded dragon. Sweetie looks terrible. I know she looks terrible. I'm trying. She keeps losing hair and then it starts growing back. Losing hair, then it starts growing back. So as you can see, I am moving out the refrigerator and it is quite bad behind here, as I expected it would be. What do you want? What, Thomas? You can't come back here right now, okay? And Tom was there inspecting. So just in case you're new, I have a lot of squirrel friends, and Sweetie has mange, and I'm starting to think she's now not the only one that has mange, because I can see where Cutie is losing some hair as well. I also have a new squirrel named Fred, where he's lost some hair, although he's growing it back now. Kind of the same thing that Sweetie's doing, so I've tried to treat her with ivermectin. Her hair was coming back. Then it started falling out again from the mange. I've tried treat balls that I found somebody sent me a recipe that helps squirrels with mange. None of the dang squirrels or any of the wildlife for that matter would eat the treat balls. So anyways, I know she looks pitiful, but she's still plugging along. She's eating, she's drinking. And look at, even though I vacuumed, when I got down on my hands and knees to vacuum, I'm covered in dust. Flash, what are you doing? You cannot come back here. I'm trying to clean. Flash. Oh, you think that's a toy? It's not a toy. It's not a toy, Flasher. I gotta get one more off. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, sir, I don't need your help. Not terrible, not as bad as it was last year, but not great. Flash, get out of here. Why do you gotta be so cute? Yeah, you're so cute, but you get out of there anyways. You know, my supervisor always has to see what I'm doing. He really wanted to get behind here. So I'm just taking a dry microfiber cloth and wiping down all of the dust. I vacuumed up what I could. But it was pretty darn bad in here, and this is where I need your help. It is absolutely covered in dust in here. I did clean it last year, but my problem is I can't fit hardly anything in here to get to all of the dust. This is probably the one time where I wish I had a dang can of compressed air. I don't have compressed air in my house, but I think I'm going to have to buy one. I took a toothbrush and I'm just trying to get into these coils. You can see the dust just flying around. I probably should have put a dang mask on. I didn't realize the dust was going to be flying so bad because I did do in here last year, but look at these huge clumps of dust that I am getting out from these coils. So if you do this and you clean the back of your refrigerator, which is inevitably always going to be dusty unless you do it probably like once a month, what do you use? I cannot fit my vacuum in here. I can barely fit the toothbrush in here in some spots. Do you use compressed air? A can of compressed air? Is that what you use? I was pretty happy with the amount of dust I was able to remove just using the toothbrush, specifically in these coils. I really wanted to try to get these coils cleaned out because I know, it just helps the refrigerator run better and last longer. Like, look at this huge clump of dust I pulled out. So curious to hear how you go about cleaning out the back part of the refrigerator. I mean, I feel like the only way to get it really clean is take the whole dang thing apart and clean it, but I'm not doing that. So, looking forward to hearing if you clean this. What do you use? While I'm editing this, the only thing I can really think of maybe would be like a pipe cleaner would be able to reach into some of the spaces. It's just a very, very tight fit back here to get really any cleaning tools in here. So it's probably, you guys are probably going to tell me compressed air. But please leave me your suggestions if you clean the back of your refrigerator and how you manage to get all of the dust, or at least most of the dust, out to help your refrigerator just run for longer and last for longer. It's not great, but I did get a tremendous amount of dust out of the coils. So at least I feel, and some other spots where I could see big clumps of dust. At least I feel good about that. And you can see Flash is back trying to help me while I'm putting the piece of cardboard, screwing it back in to the back of the refrigerator. So this was a whole huge bunch of dust that I pulled out just using the dang toothbrush. So better than it was, but still not great. Now I'm getting back here and actually cleaning everything because it was very dusty. You saw what my pants look like. So getting the walls cleaned behind here, the baseboards cleaned, just the baseboards and a couple of the walls. Like, it's just, even though I vacuumed, it's very dirty and dusty back here because it hasn't been done in a year. I'm still probably not going to do it any more than once a year. It's just a pain pulling the fridge out. I have a very, very tight space that I'm working with here, which definitely makes it challenging for filming as well because there's not a lot of room between the refrigerator and the stove. I have enough room that I can get in here and clean everything, but anyways, I'm not going to do it any more than once a year. It definitely looks way better than it did before I pulled it out and cleaned everything. And this is what my rag looks like from behind the refrigerator, the floor, the baseboards, and the walls. Now I'm going to clean the actual refrigerator, which was not terrible, but it did have some spots and spills and definitely some dust up on top.
which I was kind of chuckling when I watched this back because I'm not even as tall as the refrigerator. And when I'd go behind it, I kept ducking to get out. I got to get the step ladder out to see the top of the refrigerator. So we're going to get that all cleaned. And you can see I got to walk around to reach the whole thing because it is such a tight fit. It was very, very dusty on the top of the refrigerator, as I expected it would be. So I cleaned both sides while the refrigerator was out, only filmed the one. And then I'm going to push it back into place. And then I got to clean the front of the refrigerator. I didn't even do my dang freezer, but it's fine. I did what I could. It needed to be done. It feels good that it is done. All right, so we're just going to move on to the front of the refrigerator. Get that all cleaned off. I'm going to go through these little baskets. These were like locker baskets that my girls had at some point, and then like a year or two later decided they didn't want to use them anymore. So I use them on the refrigerator. They do a great job of holding things. I always like to put, when they're in sports and stuff, I like to put their schedules in there. But I think I am going to move them to the side of the refrigerator. It does always look nicer when your front of your appliances are clear of most things. It looks cleaner. I don't really focus on that too much. When my grandbabies are over, they got their magnets out. I don't care. It's fine. But I'm going to move them on the side, I think, after I get this all cleaned off. And when my girls were younger, the refrigerators were covered in magnets. I just fully believe it's the season of life you're in. But I know for some people, it just makes them feel better mentally if the front of the appliances are clear of any clutter. So do whatever works best for you in your house. For me personally, I'm very neutral about appliances. I don't feel like it looks bad to me. But again, for some people, they're not going to like things on their refrigerator. And of course, the front of the refrigerator does have a little bit of, I don't know what, food probably. I have received a comment before telling me that I needed to remove that little magnet because it was a choking hazard for my grandbabies. That is not a magnet. The refrigerator used to have a handle that broke, I don't know, 2 months after we bought the dang refrigerator, and we've just never replaced it. So that is an actual screw that is screwed into the refrigerator for the handle. We just open it from the side and it works just fine. So you can see I put the baskets on the side and the refrigerator is all nice and clean. I just have a couple of magnets on the front now and everything else is on the side of the refrigerator. All right, let's move on to these cake pops. I'm going to try this again. And I learned a lot. They didn't turn out great because of mistakes that I made. But I was thinking I might want to make these for Easter for my grandbabies, which I don't think I'm going to do because I need more practice. But basically, I'm just taking a white cake box mix. And I'm following the recipe on the cake box, except for instead of water, I added milk. And instead of oil, I added butter, the same amounts. And then I did add 1 extra egg in the batter. Now, when I had originally made them over a year ago, I couldn't get the batter to the consistency that I wanted it. And I had just had so many comments telling me that I had to add frosting or icing into the cake batter to make it bind together. But the the video that I had first originally watched when I tried to make these before did not add any icing to the batter to bind it together. And then I had some videos pop up on Instagram and I was like, yes, I knew there was a way you could do this without adding icing because I don't want to add icing into the batter. So I'm going to get this in the oven, and I'm not actually going to cook it for quite as long as the box tells me. I think I cut off like 2 or 3 minutes just because I didn't want the edges to get brown, which a few of them did. So I need to cook it for even a little bit less time next time I make them. But basically, what you do is you cook the cake and then you pull it right out of the oven and put it in the mixer while it is still hot. And the steam is supposed to help bind the cake together so that it makes the consistency you need to make the cake pop. So it is finished cooking, and you can see it is steaming. Like, I immediately started cutting it apart, and I'm going to mix it with my mixer. I do not have a big like KitchenAid mixer. I just have a hand mixer. I do think the KitchenAid mixer would help just because it helps hold the steam in a little more with the top of the covering. But this worked perfectly. Now, a lot of people at this point is where they say you have to add the icing to bind it together. But I'm telling you, you do not. You just have to make sure that your cake is hot enough so that the steam will bind it together. Now, I was losing faith as I was mixing because I felt like it was just really crumbly versus binding together, but it did actually bind together. I think last time I made them, I didn't do this step as quickly as I should have, and I let it cool off a little bit. So if you're going to add icing, you can just let it cool off, and the icing will definitely bind it together. But it is not a necessary step as long as you take it right from the oven and start mixing. Now, last time I had like basically no supply. So I did go on Amazon and I bought myself a little cake mold kit and a little cake stand kit. It was like $9, so it wasn't super expensive, because I had a heck of a time getting them to stand up last time because I was trying to use like a cardboard box and it was not working. Now, the videos I've watched with their KitchenAid mixers, it just kind of binds together. That was not happening for me with the hand mixer, which is why I was like, oh no, it's not working. But as soon as I just basically got my hands in there because everything was still hot and steamy, it came through the exact consistency that I needed it to come through to be able to make cake pops. But I still missed a step, which was after I got the mold all together, crumbled it all up, molded it all together. You can see this beautiful consistency here, just like dough. I should have let it cool in the refrigerator for probably a couple of hours. And I tend to get impatient when I want to do something. And I was like, no, I got the consistency I need, so I'm going to go right to making the cake pops. And we had some funny commentary from my girls. There is absolutely nothing wrong with adding icing to make it bind. I just didn't want to have to do that extra step, and I knew there was a way I could avoid it, so I was so happy that this actually turned out like dough because I got it right out of the oven and started mixing it and got it exactly how I wanted it. And then this was just the little cake mold that I bought, cake pop mold that I bought. I'll link it in the description box. It came with this mold. It had like 50 sticks to use for the cake pop. What else did it? Oh, a stand. You'll see the stand in a minute. So, like I said, it was like $9. I had to put the stand together, but it was pretty inexpensive. And I'm just putting just molding them all together. Now, after I did this is where I should have just stuck it in the refrigerator and let it set, because it makes perfect sense. While it's all doughy the way that it is right now, they're not going to set up well on a stick. But again, I was just being impatient and I wanted to see if it would work better this time than it did last time, which eventually it did, but of course not at first because I just put this on and then like 5 minutes later, I started trying to decorate them. We're almost finished with the video, but we're going to get some funny commentary from the girls here. You're going to see my cake pop fail again. So like I said, I let them sit for like 5 minutes only. And then I was like, I want to decorate these. I'm so excited. So I stuck a little bit of the icing, their candy melts, on the stick to, act like a glue, and then dipped it right into the candy melt.
Oh, that's not working. It's gonna slide down. It's gonna slide down.
Is that a frustrated laugh?
Yes. How do I keep it? Maybe should I let them cool for a little bit?
Yes, Jody, you definitely should have let them cool for way longer than 5 minutes. They did work out perfectly once I put them in the refrigerator and let them cool. I think I actually only did it for like an hour. And then the cake pop was the correct consistency and cooled enough that the stick didn't just fall right through like is what is happening to me now.
They don't look the best, but that might be working.
Mom's not listening to my advice.
Yes, I know. It's a
But I'm
tragedy.
pretty sure that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yes, Donna, I know. And this is how I did it.
And then they look like that.
You don't get to eat any of them.
This one's turning out better.
Yes.
And chocolate's falling.
All right. Ah, dang it. It fell apart.
I really don't understand how you're supposed to get the chocolate on there, though. Without it falling in the cup.
Dang it. Well, it's supposed to stick to the stick.
I know, but...
So you can see I'm failing. Then I asked Viv if she wanted to try one,
Yeah,
so she
let
came
them
over.
sit longer.
I ate the Okay, you. Notice how John just walked past you and I put you.
Well, it's not hard yet.
Oh, I want to wait till it's hard. So then it's like Starbucks.
Yeah, eat it like
It's a kebab.
eat it like a kebab. There you go.
But then doesn't it make sense if you do you cover them all in chocolate and you put them...
You don't
And
cover
then-
them in chocolate before you put them in here.
Why not?
Because that's not how you do it. You have to mold them into the mold first. Then you cover them in the
That's why
candy
they
melt.
look like that.
Donna, no! Billy, how dare you? You dropped it. It fell off the stick. Your kebab.
Don't let Clark
Your
do that.
kebab. No, no.
That's why it's not supposed to be a
They were
kebab.
still
I
so
have to
warm that poor Viv's fell right off the stick. So Donna Jean had to try it this way. There is a hole where you can put it in, but it is kind of a pain to get them out then. So we did put them in the refrigerator. I think at this point we put them in for about 15 minutes. That still wasn't long enough. It did work better though, because they were hardening up a little bit. So anyways, this is how you make cake pops, the incorrect way and the correct way. You got to let them cool in the refrigerator. We did have a couple of them that were still wanting to fall through the stick because they just were not cooled enough. So an hour in the refrigerator. I'm going to show you what they look like after we did let them cool for long enough. They tasted really, really good. And it was just a fun thing to do with the girls. And now for my third time of making cake pops, I think I'll be even better at it. All right, so after we let them cool for a good hour, they all turned out fantastic. And then we put them back in the refrigerator so the candy melt would harden. Donna Jean was just trying a design on this one. Again, they don't look the best. I need some practice, but now I know for the third time I make them, they'll be even better. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I kept you company while you were working on a project. I hope I even inspired you if you've been wanting to try cake pops. Give it a try. They do taste really good. Even the ones that looked terrible tasted good. So anyways, I'm excited to try them once again. So that is what I have for you this week. We got the fridge all cleaned out and tried our hand at cake pops again. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to see you again.